What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan. So before I get into it, the first thing I want to say is my thoughts are with Daniel Apoko. That's not what football's about. And it was really scary to see whenever an ambulance comes out. It's awful, and you hate to see that. Obviously, I'm going to be very angry in this video about state of the team and whatnot, but some things are more important than football. At the end of the day, this is just a game. I am a fan. I enjoy watching these games. And as much as, poor performance can make you upset, the things that actually really upset me is seeing that. And I hope he gets better. There are some things that are more important than football. Now, two things I'm going to address just about me. Number one is this. I normally, I don't know if many of you noticed, but I wear the white jersey for away games, the red jersey for home games. And look, I'm looking to get a black jersey, don't you worry. So why am I wearing a white jersey? Well, because last time when I was actually watching the game, I was with Buddy, and last time they won against Toronto, and I had my red jersey on, even though it was an away game. And I think in the video I wore white. So I went to the game today, and I was like, I'll wear the white jersey, right? Because I wore the white jersey for the Winnipeg game, and I was like, oh, I brought bad luck. I brought bad luck. So maybe I just need to flip it. It did not work. The other thing, I'm sure might have been pretty noticeable early on, is this is gone. I've got a goatee. Why would I do a goatee? Well, I'm going to trim it some more because many of you might not know this. I'm a huge nerd. Look, I got a big manga collection over here, all right? I love Star Wars. I'm a big nerd. I'm a big sports guy. I'm also a big nerd. And I'm also a big musical nerd. And Comic-Con is coming up. So I'm going to do a Hamilton cosplay. I saw Hamilton at the NAC. The only time I want to see a winning performance by Hamilton in Ottawa is at the NAC, and it sure was one. It was a fantastic show. It's the second time I've seen Hamilton at the NAC, and both times blew me away. Everything I imagined and more. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on Saturday, September 6th, 2025. For a cosplay of Hamilton at Comic-Con. Sounds like a fun time. If you're going to Comic-Con, maybe I'll see you there. And I need to mention this because I was thinking to myself how I should wait until after Comic-Con to make my next video. Because I am so convinced that I will have more fun at Comic-Con than I will at the Red Blacks game that I'll be going to the day before on the Friday. I'm normally not always talking about like, comment, subscribe. Please, for my own sanity, like, comment, and subscribe on this video so that I can at least say that something good came out of this. Especially the comments, because I've got this game's left me with more questions than answers. As you can see, no notes. I don't need notes. I don't need notes for this one. So what did I say in my last video? That we can't keep going down by 3 scores. They did it again. They did it again. They went down by 3 scores. Again. Edmonton. First drive, nothing doing. First drive for us, nothing doing. Edmonton makes it 3, we still don't do anything. Edmonton makes it 10, we don't do anything, and the punt gets returned all the way to the end zone. They put 17 on the board before we put on 1. Hey, technically we put on 1. Yeah, Richie Leone gets a rouge in his 150th grade CFL game. Very happy for Richie Leone. Great player, one of my favorite players. But thanks to penalty, even that doesn't stand. It is 17-0. We got a decent drive after forever. We make it 7. 17 7. Okay. At 10 points. That's doable. Edmonton marches into our territory, and what happens? We get a huge sack. The kick hits the uprights, and it doesn't matter because there's a time count violation anyway. They are forced to punt. It was an 18-yard sack. Like, they were 2nd and 3, and it was 3rd and 21 after the fact. It was chip shot field goal range to on the outskirts. We saw that it hit the upright, and then with the other penalty tacked on top of it, a mammoth 3rd and 31. They have to punt with barely any time left in the half. Okay, all you need to do at this point is to at least not get scored on. If you can go into the half down 10 with as slow a start as we had, great. And if you can get a little closer, if you can make it a one-score game at the half, even better. No, we do nothing with the ball. We don't move it at all. We punt it. Edmonton gets into field goal range, 20-7 at the half. And so here's my thing. That is a point where, for most teams, when you see how we've started our games, that's a sign that something needs to change. That maybe someone needs to get fired. We need to change things on offense or defense or something. Our defense couldn't make a tackle to save their lives. I swear there was some place where I was like, look, I could have evaded that tackle. Not because I'm a great athlete, but because what the heck are you tackling, buddy? You're just whiffing. And it's like they were slathered with butter, Edmonton. It was not pretty. And on offense, we could just get nothing going. 7 points in the first half. 7. Second half, we get a good drive going. Okay, we score a touchdown. 14-20. One score game. Oh boy. We get the stop. Oh my goodness. We have a chance. And we continue. By the fourth quarter, we hold Edmonton completely shut out in the third quarter. In the third quarter, we are pressing. We get into deep Edmonton territory, and at third and I want to say like 3rd and 3, we kick a field goal. Now look, I do think going for it would have been a little too aggressive. I get it. Lots of game left. 20-17. You know, your defense has been getting some stops in the third quarter. If we can get another stop and get the ball back, it's a goal. They go down the field. They score a touchdown. They make it 27-20. Don't worry. If we can score, it's still going to be a one-score game. Right? A score of any kind at least keeps hope alive. This time the bottom falls out. We don't score. When they get the ball back, they do. They kick a field goal to make it 30-20. And even the ending was an ending of cowardice. Look, I get it. When there's like 40 seconds left and you're down 2 scores and you're in your own territory, the game's over. But for the love of God, throw 3 Hail Marys. For the love of God, just at least act like you're trying. Look, if we throw a deep bomb with 40 seconds left, probably going to end either incomplete or intercepted. But on the off chance that you get a catch and get into range for a quick touchdown, you are at least giving your team a heartbeat, a faint heartbeat. But hey, if you get the onside kick, Lewis Ward is your kicker. You know, maybe you could kick a last-second game-tying field goal. What is short yardage? What are these check-down passes and running plays? So many running plays where it's predictable, it's not needed, it's not useful. Poor play calling. Well, we don't do anything. 30-20 is the final. So here is my first question. Would it be better if we just get blown out next game if we go down early? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm done with the comebacks if we don't finish with the win. Look, I get it's fun. It's fun when you don't have a 3-8 record. If we were 5-6, I'd say, yeah, sure, entertaining football. This is what the fans want. This isn't what the fans want when you have 3 wins in 11 games. We want to see some wins. After 5 seasons of the same thing, we got one good season where, hey, it's interesting. Come watch us. We can win games at home. We've done that once out of 5 times all season. We won 1 game at home. You might be maybe a little more apologetic if our 3 wins were all home wins. I'd say, well, hey, 3 out of 5 at home. Not too bad. 3 and 2 at home. Not too bad. Hey, at least at home they're pretty good. No, we suck at home. We suck at home. It's not fun. Look at me. How many times do I have to say, you don't need to convince me to come to the games. I love this team. I go to these games. You know who you need to convince? The people who don't usually go. And you can't convince them by going down 17 points to start the game. And when you only have 3 wins, it's very hard to convince people to come back. People who've left, because that's what's happened. We used to sell out every game. And now we're lucky to crack 15,000. We used to be at 35. We've lost 20,000 fans over just a few short years. You are not going to convince them to come back with a 3-8 record. Again, if it was 5-6 and your 6 losses were at least close and you were in a playoff spot, it's at least convincing. It's at least an argument. You can at least, with some semblance of sanity, say, come see our games. Come watch us. It'll be a fun time. Who's going to believe you? You're 3-8. Every game, you're down by a massive score before you decide to, actually play football. And by then it's too late. And the comeback that we barely win. A comeback where we tie it up but ultimately lose. Well, this comeback never even tied it. From the moment Edmonton took the lead, they never let go. They took the lead in the first quarter, and then from that point on, there were 0 lead changes. None. We didn't so much as tie the game for even a second. So, if next game against BC, it's 17-0 for BC at the start of the game, I hope that they demolish us. I hope they beat us by 40, by 50. Because then maybe we would see some change. Now here's my other thing. I think that maybe we will now. Because first bye week was early, and you can go back and watch the video. I called for change then. Now it's insane if you don't. It boggles the mind if you don't. No more second chances. We don't need any more evidence. We don't need any more proof that this isn't the offensive coordinator. This isn't the coach. Not the ones that are going to win a Grey Cup for us. They might bring us back to the playoffs every so often. This team will never win. They won't. With this training and conditioning staff that week after week we get injured. And at some point you need to say, all right, the training isn't working. Something isn't working because it's not just one player. It is not just one side of the ball. It is consistent and it is every game. There's something wrong with the way we play football. Where are the changes? I mean, we've regressed. It's official. We have now 8 losses, which is how many losses we had last year. And I somehow doubt we're going to win out. I somehow don't think we're going to just drop 7 wins in a row, make the playoffs, and then sweep the playoffs. 10 straight wins, win the Great... No, it's not happening. So at this point, and look, I said it before, I don't know why Rick Campbell's not the head coach. Because look, it's the easiest out ever. You make Rick Campbell the interim head coach. You don't need to give him the position forever. He's got 7 games. That's a good sample size still. 7 games. If he goes 3-4, maybe you extend him as head coach. Goes 4-3, yeah, okay. If he wins 5 games or more, Boom. Done. Head coach. No doubt. He's the guy. Should never fired you in the first place. Sorry, Rick. If we only get 3, or if we only get 2 wins or 1 win, you're just the interim head coach. You can offer him his position, or you can offer him a better position. You can make him the offensive coordinator or something. Because it's just interim. It's not a full-time position. But when you hire your former head coach who won a Grey Cup, that should be a sign that if things don't go well, then there's a replacement ready. A replacement who is beloved by the fans. When he left, most fans were with Rick. Most fans think he shouldn't have been fired in the first place. And even the fans that do definitely would say, well, yeah, the years with Rick Campbell were way better than what we have now. Way better. So, make him the interim. Again, that might get some more fans to come to at least see that coach that they liked. Right? Oh, maybe that'll turn things around. Oh, they finally made a decision I agree with. Finally, man. Management is being smart. Let me go see this Red Blacks game now that Rick Campbell is back. Ugh! Because what do you have to lose? Rick Campbell, as Ottawa's head coach, won 4 playoff games. That's more games than we've won this entire regular season. Won 4 playoff games, lost 3. Yeah, in the playoffs, he had a winning record. It was 4-3 and played 7 playoff games. We've played 11 regular season games, and we have 3 wins, making the coach. It's right there. It's right there. And it's a bye week. Oh, but there were injuries. Every team deals with injuries. And yeah, I'll admit, if we had Drew Brown and Braylon Addison, maybe that would have changed the result. It's Edmonton. It's Edmonton. Yeah, maybe you think that this team's going to beat BC? We've got back-to-back games against BC after the bye week. I pray that after the bye week, both Addison and Brown are healthy. I struggle seeing us beating BC once, let alone twice. We have Saskatchewan. Then we have to beat Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. You think we're going to beat either of them? You think we're going to beat... No. Loss. The only... for the really positive fans out there, and normally I'm that guy. Normally I'm like, oh, wow, that's not over here. Oh, well, yeah. TSN even said, I'm normally the positive guy. I normally am finding something. I'm trying. So here's my positive spin. Maybe between BC, Winnipeg, and Saskatchewan, we win 1 if we're shooting for the stars 2 games. Then we face Montreal, Hamilton. Now maybe, if everything, the stars align, the universe is perfect, maybe Montreal, they're still dealing with quarterback injuries. We're able to win both of those games just because, hey, when you're on your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th string quarterback, not much you can do. And maybe we can beat Hamilton on the basis of, by the time we face Hamilton in the last week of the season, they are going to be playing a single starter. Are you kidding me? They will have punched their ticket to the East Final weeks ago. And maybe we'll be playing to clinch a playoff spot. And maybe we could actually win five games. With the 3 that we've had, 8 wins. That's not too bad. The 3 wins that we have, none of them are against good teams. Weather beat Calgary, injuries beat Calgary, and Toronto is Toronto. We can't even beat Edmonton. I get it, we're injured. I get it. When we faced them before, we couldn't beat them. So, best case scenario, we limp into the playoffs. The Western crossover team beats us to a pulp in the East semis. But hey, at least we got to host a round this time. At least we got to host a game before we got pummeled. So here's my other question. If we don't change anything this bye week, If Bob Dice is still head coach, Tommy Condell's still offensive coordinator, no turnover of the coaching staff, do you want this team to make the playoffs as a Red Blacks fan? Like, is it good for the long-term health of this team if we make the playoffs? Because it's a lot harder to fire a coach who makes the playoffs in back-to-back seasons when you missed for 4 straight. It's really hard to justify that. To me, I'm like, if we make the playoffs, it's hard to justify firing Bob Dice. Go watch my Charge videos when we were like the dead last team in the league last season. I never said it, but I was toying with the idea of, well, hey, like, if nothing changes. And now, like, firing Carla is beyond, so she should have won Coach of the Year. Because, yeah, she turned things around. And we made the finals. Who here thinks there's literally any chance that we make the final? Like, okay, let's go into my fantasy land, right? Where we do win 5 games. You got 8 wins at the end of the season. That's not too bad. Yeah, we are the East semifinal host. And maybe we do face a weaker West team. And we win that game. Who here thinks we actually beat Hamilton? Oh, nobody? Everybody thinks that they blow us up. Who here thinks that if we get to the Grey Cup against, I'm just going to throw a team at Saskatchewan, 8-1 Saskatchewan. Who here thinks that there's literally any chance that we win? Everyone thinks that Saskatchewan has a 40-point lead at the half? Really? And look, yes, I'd love to see a huge turnaround. If we do win 7 in a row and go on to win the Grey Cup, I'd love it. I'll eat my words. I'll apologize to Bob Dice and everything. But at this point, I think it's more likely that we just do that with Rick Campbell. If we miss the playoffs, there's no justification for keeping them around. There's none. If you don't make a move and we miss the playoffs, there's no justification. None. If ownership doesn't make a move, it shows a complete level of complacency. And here's the thing. Look, there's been a lot of times I've disagreed with ownership. I will give them this. They do make the move when the pressure is there. Desjardins, Paul LaPolice, arguably Rick Campbell. Again, most people think he was fired a little early. He should have had another season, and then if that was really bad, okay, time to think more seriously. I think that's what rubs me the wrong way. Rick Campbell was not given this much leash, even though he did so much more for us. If Rick Campbell put up the record that Bob Dice had, he wouldn't have lasted more than 2 seasons. He extended his tenure by having a great 2015 season and a Grey Cup in 2016. Then we made the playoffs again, not with the hottest record ever, but we made the playoffs in 2017 and made it back to the Grey Cup with a winning record in 2018. And then we had 5 wins in 2019, and that was enough to get him canned. 5 wins. I hope we win 5 this season. 5 wins would be an overperformance at this rate. And Bob Dice has had 1 playoff appearance. I love Bob Dice. I think he seems like such a nice guy. He seems like such a chill coach. And Rick Campbell, who I also love, would have been fired about 10, 11 weeks ago. You know? Why is nothing changing? So what do you think? Are we going to change something? Should we change something? If we're down big next game, do you hope we just fall apart so that, yeah, we change something? Thank goodness we have a bye week. Not just to get healthy, but also because, I don't know, that I want to watch football next week. Yeah, I missed the Ottawa Charge. Maybe I'll make a Charge video. That's what I should do. Maybe I can make a Comic-Con video. A video of me dressing like Hamilton, not watching them play. Red Blacks fans, where are you at? What are your thoughts? And as always, even when it's sometimes hard to say. As always, go Ottawa, go.